Hi, I'm Cam Speedy. I've lived on the shores of Lake Taupo for almost 30 years now, and while that's about as far inland as you can get in New Zealand, there's still an incredible link between the centre of the North Island and our seabirds out at the coast. In the 30 years I've spent chasing Sika in the high country, I've come across clear evidence that there have been seabirds in the relatively recent past, and I can take you to places right now and show you burrows that are without a shadow of a doubt related to seabird breeding. They're exactly the same as the sort of burrows that you'll find today on places like Great Barrier Island, and probably the same species of seabird, but they're 50, 60 kilometres from the coast. There's a lot of historical connection as well. Māori knew them, and they named a lot of the places here. Throughout the high country there's references to titi with names like Mōtiti, Pukatiti, Mangatiti, Ruatiti, Te Umu Titi, Titi Ropenga, Makatiti. All of those Māori place names refer to connection Māori had historically with the seabirds that came in here to breed. This spot we're on now is in the Kaimanawa ranges, right in the middle of the Manuka country on private Māori land, East Taupo lands. The nutrients that were once here, fueled by seabirds, is long since gone. It's been 100 years since this forest had seabird clatter in it every summer. If you can imagine thousands of seabirds crashing in through the canopy, loaded with fish to feed their chicks. And those chicks lived here on this beautiful, warm, north-facing slope. Sunny, warm soils, free of predators. There would have been invertebrates, giant wetters, tuatara, probably kiwis and moa, eagles, all sorts of different critters. It must have been just a fascinating place. And those seabirds went 50 kilometres back to an ocean that must have been just teeming with fish to support thousands, if not millions, of seabirds coming in, bringing nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium, other trace elements and minerals from the ocean to here. Be just the same as a farmer using a top dressing plane to put guano that's been mined off a Pacific atoll on his farm to grow his rye clover mixed pasture to grow sheep and cattle. Up we go. There's a cycle being broken, the link between this mountain and the ocean. For Māori that's Tangaroa and Tāne. It's sea and land, sea and mountain, but those connections are critical ecologically.
So it's a bit shitty to start with, then it just opens up into heaven.
It's only when you start to imagine what it used to be like that you realise what we've lost. It's pretty quiet here today. You can hear a grey warbler. I saw a tomtit before. There's a few chaffinches and blackbirds, but nothing like it used to be.
Through this face here, there's a series of white angular rocks which sort of stack up on each other, and there's burrow structures all through it. I think that's why they've survived, because they've got that rock structure to them. A lot of the earth burrows are long gone. You find the odd one, but these angular rock structures, they've lasted the test of time. Rainstorms, windstorms, vegetation falling over, deer standing on them, hunters poking their arms in them. So yeah, we'll just go for a bit of a recce through here and see if we can find them.
Here's one here. This is a beauty. This is an absolute beauty. I found this burrow here about 10 years ago. I had a possum in it the day I found it, and I didn't realise at the time it was a seabird burrow. But there are probably 20 on this face. It's about an arm length deep. It's got a nice big chamber at the end. Just around to the left you can feel a little chamber. And once upon a time you'll probably been able to pull out some seabird poo. Seabirds were coming to this site for millions of years before man brought predators. And in just a short century we've snuffed them out. Millions of years of evolution, and their whakapapa back to places like this is broken by the introduced species. This one animal can do so much damage. There's no stoats on Great Barrow Island, which is perhaps the reason why there's still a breeding colony there. Clearly stoats have wiped a lot of things out of forests like this around New Zealand. But seabirds are not suffering the same sort of threats that they used to suffer. They've reduced from billions down to millions, and in the case of the black petrel, thousands, because of habitat loss and predation. Now one of the biggest threats is fishing. Humans and black petrels feed together at a critical time of the year when the black petrels are breeding. So they're pretty busy trying to catch a feed for their whānau, just like the rest of us during that summer period, and that interaction of fishermen and birds becomes an issue for a bird that was once so widespread but is now so limited.